Forests provide a home to millions of diverse flora and fauna around the world. But the benefits of forests extend far beyond the wildlife who live there. They play a vital role in the world's carbon cycle by balancing greenhouse gas emissions, making the air in our atmosphere breathable, and protecting against climate change. But as companies cut down more and more of our forests to make room for agriculture and industry, the whole planet suffers the consequences. Deforestation threatens our environment, impacts human lives, and kills millions of animals every year. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, and in this video we're going to tell you everything you need to know about deforestation, but more importantly, what are the effects of deforestation? Before we start, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. So without further ado, let's dive in. What is deforestation? Deforestation is the mass removal of trees over a wide area. The term most often refers to the clearing of trees by humans, but natural processes such as flooding or fire can take down trees too. Most frequently, deforestation occurs to clear land for other purposes, like farming or to collect timber from the fallen trees. Regardless of what drives deforestation, the end result is always the same: the destruction of an ecosystem that once played a vital role in protecting our planet. Here are some of the most devastating effects of this bad overexploitation of trees. Soil erosion. The roots of trees stabilize soil and keep it in place. Removing trees loosens the soil and leaves it exposed to damaging rains and wind. Removing trees on a mass scale through deforestation significantly speeds up soil erosion. Researchers examine the impact of deforestation on loess, a soil layer of dust and silt that's rich in minerals. They found that the combination of agriculture, cattle ranching, and demand for wood drove deforestation on the loess in northeastern Iran, increasing the loss of soil and nutrients. Developing countries pay an especially harsh price for soil erosion, especially when they lose topsoil, the nutrient-rich layer of soil that is essential for growing crops. Climate change. Trees balance the world's carbon dioxide levels as the gas cycles through the atmosphere and into the oceans, soil, and other living organisms. Cutting down trees releases their stored CO2 back into the atmosphere. And when we don't replant the fallen trees, we lose out on their continued removal of excess carbon from the atmosphere. This leads to the excess carbon emissions that contribute to the greenhouse effect and accelerate climate change. Removing trees on a mass scale through deforestation takes away one of the most important buffers we have against climate change. If we put an end to deforestation, our annual greenhouse gas emissions would drop by 10%. This action could prove crucial in the fight against climate change, with climate scientists estimating we need to cut greenhouse gas emissions by at least 50% in the next decade to mitigate the crisis at hand. Floods. Trees help to control flooding. Their roots hold soil firm in heavy rains, and the trees themselves absorb some of the rainwater. Their absence can cause disastrous floods. In 2004, floods killed hundreds of people in Haiti. Reports from the aftermath of the disaster revealed that the removal of 98% of the island nation's forests caused the flooding, deeming the floods a man-made ecological disaster. On the other side of the world, deforestation for illegal harvesting also intensified floods in Kashmir, claiming the lives of 18 people in 2015. Researchers are clear that when the trees are removed from the environment, the rainy season can have devastating effects. Habitat loss. The Earth has lost an estimated 80 million hectares of forest since 1990 as industries clear forested land for farming, grazing, mining, drilling, and urbanization. These numbers don't just represent fallen trees, it represents the decimation of millions of animal habitats. In fact, habitat loss is among the greatest dangers to plant and animal species worldwide, and agriculture is the major cause. When animals lose their habitat, they lose the shelter they need for continued survival. Researchers have observed the decline of entire species populations in response to deforestation-driven habitat loss. Acidic oceans. Ocean acidification occurs when the ocean absorbs CO2, lowering the water's pH level and making it more acidic. Deforestation, along with other human activities such as industrial, agriculture, and the burning of fossil fuels, accelerates this problem. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the ocean absorbs around 30% of all atmospheric CO2. As levels of atmospheric CO2 rise, so do levels in the ocean, resulting in further ocean acidification. Just like the oceans, forests act as a carbon sink, with trees absorbing and storing atmospheric carbon. Deforestation forces our oceans to take on more of the strain of excess greenhouse gases. Ocean acidification harms ocean biodiversity and ecosystems. When water becomes more acidic, It can actually dissolve the shells and skeletons of organisms like oysters, clams, sea urchins, shallow water corals, deep sea corals, and calcareous plankton. The negative effects of this reverberate through the entire ecosystem as bigger fish rely on these calcified organisms for food. Food insecurity. Forest provides surrounding communities with clean drinking water, food, and jobs. Indigenous people harvest food and medicine directly from plant species in the forest, or cultivate crops in the fertile soil. When companies cut down forests, these communities lose resources to cultivate the food they need to survive, pushing them into food insecurity. Hundreds of millions of people rely on tropical forests of food, and the highest concentrations of food insecure populations live in regions with tropical forests. Health problems. When humans destroy their forest habitats, animals and insects seek shelter in the populous villages surrounding forests. Animal migration into human territory leads to an unprecedented amount of contact between humans and wildlife that's not only unnatural but dangerous. This is because animals can spread pathogens to humans. These pathogens cause illnesses known as zoonotic diseases. So how can we stop deforestation? Alongside halting deforestation and starting forest restoration initiatives, government leaders must act to protect remaining forest ecosystems, the species that live within them, and the communities that depend on them for survival. Scientists recommend protecting and maintaining at least 50% of land and oceans as intact natural ecosystems to save the diversity and abundance of life on Earth. One of the key actions governments can take to protect and maintain forest ecosystems is restoring land rights to indigenous people, which prevents private interests from clearing the land. A study found that in Brazil, deforestation rates decreased by 2/3 in areas where indigenous people fully own their lands. While some private companies have committed to ending deforestation in their supply chains, deforestation continues to accelerate. Evidence has shown that we cannot put our trust in private companies to stop plundering Earth's forests for their own financial gain. We need governments to step up and enforce crucial forest protection and restoration initiatives if we want to put a stop to deforestation.